Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to the Piper Report. So Wikileaks has released more CIA documents, and this is called Project Dumbo by the CIA. And this one is actually pretty interesting, and I will explain why it is. But before I say that, I want to say that I was reading some of the responses toward this tweet, and one person in particular said something that I think many people would also agree with, is that, well, first, before I can say that, let's go over what Dumbo is, or else you won't know what I'm talking about. Today, August 3rd, 2017, WikiLeaks publishes documents from the Dumbo project of the CIA. Dumbo is a capability to suspend processes utilizing webcams and corrupt any video recordings that could compromise a PAG deployment. The PAG, Physical Access Group, is a special branch within the CCI, Center for Cyber Intelligence. Its task is to gain and exploit physical access to target computers in CIA field operations. Dumbo can identify, control, and manipulate monitoring and detection systems on a target computer running the Microsoft Windows operating system. It identifies installed devices like webcams and microphones, either locally or connected by wireless or wired networks. All processes related to the detected devices, usually recording, monitoring, or detection of video-audio network streams, are also identified and can be stopped by the operator. By deleting or manipulating recordings, the operator is aided in creating fake or destroying actual evidence of the intrusion operation. Dumbo is run by the field agent directly from an USB stick. It requires administrative privileges to perform its tasks. It supports, and then here's all what it supports. So essentially what this means is that the CIA can remove or stop any type of recording equipment from happening in a certain area. Now, the CIA is not supposed to do their investigations on U.S. soil. But back to what I was saying now about this whole comment on WikiLeaks earlier, somebody mentioned something interesting. He said, yes, just like no webcams were able to record the murder of Seth Rich. And it kind of made me think a little bit. Whether that is true or not, I will leave that up to you to debate and judge, but that would be something that could happen. All it takes is for a government official to say, you know what, let's flick our fingers. And what happens? Any type of recording equipment automatically gets shut off. So you can do any type of malevolent activity, any type of illegal activity you want, because nothing is recording. This could completely hide anyone's crimes who work for the government on a nefarious level. Now, the CIA is only supposed to do operations overseas, so hopefully they can use this advantage to themselves overseas. But I don't think it's a far leap to suspect that this type of technology may be being used also here at home. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, we know, based on the leaks from Snowden, that the equipment the NSA and CIA were using was actually directed on the American people and not really directed on those overseas. Yes, it was overseas, but primarily they were violating our civil rights and liberties. I think the CIA, JFK was actually distrustful of the CIA. He said we didn't need it. And although I do think we need intelligence services, I agree that there is much of a black operation funding going on at the deep-seated levels of our intelligence agencies. And I do think it needs some congressional oversight. I believe on Ron Paul with this. Ron Paul, his view is kind of, not really we should get rid of the CIA, but we should definitely reduce it exponentially and get rid of all the potential illegal activities that they could use on us. And I agree to that effect. I mean, we do need intelligence services. We do need to keep our country safe. But since we already excuse me, swallowed wrong. Since we already keep our country relatively safe based on the money we spend, we could drastically reduce many types of our cyber warfare and surreptitious programs we use to defend ourselves. So that is something to keep in mind here. But see, things like this, what this means is that surreptitious types of equipment that happens, or that the deep-seated intelligence services possess, they can be used for good or they can be used for evil. Evil in the sense that they can be used against the American people. And if we ever get a president or a Congress that is very, very dictatorial in regards to the way they create their policies and to the way they enact and implement those policies, we do not, the people, want to go up against an agency that has this type of power in front of them. This Operation Dumbo or whatever other operation the CIA has. Like we know from Wikileaks Vault 7, the CIA. There's a lot of things that our intelligence services can do that can actually be quite terrifying if they are used against the American people. They are not supposed to be used against the American people. But just because something's not supposed to happen doesn't mean it never does. So that comment that I found interesting about the Seth Rich murder, I'll let you guys talk about that one, but I mean, this could, in theory, be used for instances like that. If they ever really want to get rid of a political activist or somebody who is causing a ruckus and trying to expose the corruption and the malevolence happening inside the government, well, Operation Dumbo would be the perfect type of weapon to use to neutralize that political activist. It's not a far leap to think that 1984, it can happen eventually, and it could happen to America, even though we are supposed to be the freest, freer. We're supposed to be the most free country in the world. And I'm done.